Look at this leaf. Look at this leaf. Ay, ay, ay. Like, look at that. You can definitely see a difference. You know how sometimes when leaves harden off, they lose that glossy look to them? But no, not this plant. These Hoya need some more love. I have these Hoya in my collection, and every month I think, okay, I'm gonna feature this Hoya, but they just don't fall into the categories. And so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna give these Hoya their own dedicated video. The ones that you don't get to see, the Hoya that I don't talk about, think they need some time to shine. If you're new here, hello, my name is Stephanie. I love sharing content about my houseplant journey, and where I can, I like to share tips on how I grow and care for my plants on a budget. To give you some context as to where I am in the world, I'm located in Canada, specifically in Ontario. So we experience winters, we're just getting into spring, and we're getting into those sunnier days. But let me tell you, the weather is pretty unpredictable, so I'm still relying heavily on my grow lights. Anyways, we're here to talk about Hoya. If you love Hoya, let me know by giving the video a thumbs up down below so I know to make more Hoya content, and I love seeing my fellow Hoya lovers. Okay, I'm gonna start with this one, and no, which one? I don't even know which one to start with. Okay, let me just pick one. I'll just pick this one and let's start with that. Okay, so the first plant that I'd like to talk about is this one. This is my Hoya Vietnam. So we want to get a little bit closer, and this would probably benefit from a trellis, but I don't feel like trellising it. I think I'm over trellising some of my Hoya. Like, I just want a break from trellising them. So I'm gonna let some of my Hoya dangle or fall from now on. I used to have it going up like this along one of my poles, and so that's why the leaves are facing down like this and not the other way. But anyways, let's get into the details. This Hoya, I feel like there was a time when we used to talk about this Hoya a whole lot, but we don't talk about it as much as we used to. This Hoya, I think what got me was the yellow splashing. I'm a lover of those yellow splashing or this light green leaves with splashing. Now, I didn't think the Hoya Vietnam was supposed to have splash. I think when I look up Hoya Vietnams online, I mostly see leaves that look like this one here. I guess I got a splashy specimen. And so this one I got from Tia. I will link her down below. A lot of you ask me where I buy my Hoya from. I either get it from Tia or Jenna. Like these two people, these are my suppliers. Usually it's from these two and one other person on my Facebook Marketplace. But basically that's who I buy most of my Hoya from, and from one local nursery. So again, these are my suppliers. But anyway, I love this plant because, like I mentioned, I love the glossy look to the leaves. You know how sometimes when leaves harden off, they lose that glossy look to them? But no, not this plant. They stay super glossy, super shiny. They are beautiful leaves. And here, these may not be as glossy because they're dusty. Like, they just need to be washed. But beautiful leaves. I love this plant. At first, it wasn't the fastest grower. It's not super fast. I'd call it like a medium grower. Yeah, I lost a few leaves in some places. Like, I think due to physical damage, some of these leaves popped off. I lost a couple, like I lost one in the middle here, as you can see. But I think that I might start chopping this plant and sticking some cuttings back in here. Well, not like, I think I'm gonna put them in water first and then put them back in here. I would prefer to have a fuller plant, but if you look here, it seems that the plant is on its own already starting to branch out right here and push out some new growth. So I'm excited about that. And it's also pushing out some other new growth. This nub here might be a little bit too small to see, but right in here, there's another nub that it's trying to activate in here. I'm excited. I love this plant, and I do find myself looking at it every day. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of houseplants. I mean, okay, I have 100, and yeah, I guess that is a lot if you're not a collector, but if you are a plant collector, or especially if you make content like I do, that's not a whole lot. A lot of creators have much bigger collections. It allows me time, is what I'm trying to say, to really properly look at my plants. And I do find myself looking at this plant. I really like it. Anyways, it lives under my Sansi grow lights. And what I like is that it can sun stress. I think I don't encourage it to sun stress a whole lot because I prefer I prefer the green look, but if you give it a lot of light, you see that little purple look here, it can get purple sun stressing on it. And also if it gets damaged, like if the leaf scars, which happens very easily, it will get the little purple look to it as well. But I really like this plant, and I guess I just wanted to feature it before I start manipulating it, before I start cutting it and experimenting with it. I just wanted to capture it in its beautiful glory. I should probably get a shot for Instagram as well, because I guess you could call it a fast grower. I have a picture of how it looked when I first got it. I mean, maybe a couple weeks after I first got it, after I pushed out maybe second leaf. And so that was, I think, less than a year ago. I think I got it in the summertime last year. I don't quite remember, but anyways, yeah, I guess it's a decently fast growing plant. I don't think it's super fast, but it's not too slow. It did nothing when I repotted it, just like all Hoya do, and then it took off. But anyways, I think I might cut it, you know, somewhere. I lost these leaves here. I accidentally knocked them off. So I think I don't know, I might chop it somewhere further back or chop it somewhere here so that it can activate these growth points here. But anyways, I've said a lot about it, and that's this one, the Hoya Vietnam. I just love the name too, Vietnam. So great. Oh, and I have it in, this is Molly's aeroid mix. I totally forgot. This is Molly's aeroid mix that is growing in a self-watering pot. Yeah, and light from my grow lights. Like I mentioned, I'm in Canada. Light is inconsistent here. Okay, the next plant I'm going to talk about is right here. I need to sort of unwind it, which is probably a reason why I don't talk about it a whole lot, because I have to, it's usually in like a far to reach place, because this plant is so easygoing now that I don't go at it very often. And that is a plant that I love to love. This is my Hoya Australis Lisa. Look at this plant. Look at this. I think the Australis Lisa needs more love. We need to talk about this plant some more. It is beautiful. I'm so sorry, it's getting darker. It was the most beautiful sunny day, like blue skies, clear blue skies. And now it's super dark outside. It's only like 3 o'clock. But anyways, these leaves, you know the Ficus tenaci, how those leaves, they look painted. I had someone visit my home the other day and they saw my Ficus tenaci, and I was giving them a mini tour of my plants. I'm like, this is a Ficus tenaci. It used to be bigger. I chopped it up. She was like, that's a real plant? I thought it was an artificial plant. I'm like, yes, it's a real plant. The leaves are so beautifully designed. They're so beautiful. They look painted on. And this definitely gives me a very similar feel. Those watercolored, mixed, oh, there's no like sharp lines between, like, you know how variegation sometimes, I know this is variegation, but how it can have these sharp lines. I guess it does have it. It looks sharp here, but in person, it's actually a lot more diffused. Oh my goodness, it is so beautiful. And then look at this leaf with the dark green, the lighter green, and the yellowy color. Oh my goodness, it is absolutely stunning. So anyways, when I got this plant, it was at a time when the nursery did not have a lot of Hoya. This was one of the few Hoya they had in stock, and this was probably almost 2 years ago. This was before my YouTube channel. This is the very first Hoya I ever got. And this was before I knew anything about Hoya. And I would put it in a pot, it wouldn't grow. And then I would be like, okay, this pot isn't working. And then repot it, and then it wouldn't grow. And be like, okay, this pot isn't working. And I would keep repotting it, and the plant would just not grow. This is one of the plants that taught me, once you keep going at Hoya and keep repotting them, they're gonna stop growing. They're gonna stop until they could find their footing again. And so that's what this plant did. And so I put it in a self-watering pot because I couldn't figure out the watering, because again, I was new to Hoya. So I put it in here, and oh, it just pushed out some new roots in here. This is brand new. This wasn't like this. Well, I don't go in here very often, but anyways, these are brand new roots. I'll water it since I have it out. But yeah, it's such an easy Hoya. It's a great way to get that variegation into your collection without getting a difficult Hoya. I tell you, I messed up this plant so much. This plant shouldn't be here for how bad I did it. I did it dirty. I bothered it so much, and I am shocked that it's still here and it's so full. So for a long time, it lived in my south facing window, because as you can see, I have like these, like a pole, like a pressure rod with racks on them, or with little shelves on them. And I had it in my bathroom because during the winter, that's getting excellent south facing light. And so I think that's what encouraged these beautiful new leaves. This was extremely long. This was like double the length, and I cut it because it is sort of a reverted plant. So it's almost like when they sold it, they gave you two variegated plants, and then they gave you like an all green plant in it, which is not exactly what I was going for. But anyways, so I chopped it back to its most variegated leaf, with the hopes that I could get some new variegation when it pushes out again. But I think I'm probably gonna just chop it all the way back again, so it can just be a very small bushy plant, because I have it on the top shelf here and I have it like wrapping around my pole. But anyways, I'm talking a lot because this plant is gorgeous, and the new leaves come in this bright red color. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. I'm pretty sure if I left it in my south window, it would be a little bit bigger by now, but brought it over here and I have it up high in my west window. I'm excited for when this starts to fall and just cascade. And but in a way, I actually like it in this, you know, very stubby, very bushy like look. Anyways, that's my Hoya Australis Lisa. Okay, so another Hoya that I honestly don't talk enough about on my channel is this one. It's wrapped around. I have to unwrap it. Oh yeah. So it's on my IKEA shelf over there, which is like this one, but it's wrapped around it, so I had to unwrap it. Anyways, this plant is my Hoya Wilbur Graves Russia. My China gets a lot of attention. I show it here a lot on my channel. I'm sure you've probably seen it before. I'll bring it in a minute to show you a little bit of a comparison. But anyways, the Hoya Wilbur Graves Russia. I've had this plant for a little bit over a year now. I will insert clips or footage of when I first got this plant. And I remember trying to decide whether I wanted the Wilbur Graves China or the Wilbur Graves Russia. And the reason I got the Russia is because the Russia typically has rounded leaves. So like this leaf here is a typical look of a Russia. They tend to be a little bit rounder in their leaf shape, where the China tends to be a little bit longer and thinner in their leaf shape. So I thought, I love round leaves, so I wanted to get a Russia. But tell me why these leaves are now looking very China-like. Like, look at how long and pointed they are. Beautifully, like, splashy, but they look less Russian and more China. But anyways, this plant, the reason mine is so small is because this one, I find, reverts way faster than the China. And maybe it's genetics. You know what? Maybe this one doesn't have as good of genetics as my China. I'll show you my China in a minute. Trust me, you want to see it. But I kept having to chop it back because I kept getting all green leaves. And I mean, come on, it was a very splashy plant to begin with. Like, it was really splashy. I think this is one of the original leaves. Like, it was super splashy, like silver. That's a silver leaf right there, right? So anyways, I kept cutting it back. So that's why it's so small. And then I finally started getting some silver leaves. So then I have these two, and then I have this one, and I have no idea what happened. This leaf fell off. And then I have, I need to be careful. I have 2 leaves activating here. And yeah, I know every time I say this, I get someone in the comment section telling me, no, Stephanie, that's not true. But I genuinely believe, and I will keep saying this until I can see with my own 2 eyes that this is, like, it's wrong, that Hoya splash depends on 2 factors. The genetics, so the quality of the Hoya that you have, and not the quality, but how much splash is in it, because it could be a beautiful plant. It just doesn't have a lot of splash. So the genetics, how much splash is in the specimen that you have, and lighting. I used to think that splash wasn't a type of variegation, but it is. And the way variegation a lot of times behaves is that it's dependent on light. So anyways, I try to give this plant really high amounts of light, and so I try to have a grow light pointing right at it. I can't grow this plant in a window because a day like today where it gets 5 hours of a sunny sky, but then it gets another 5 hours or less than that of cloudiness, and then we end up getting greener leaves. So anyways, that's my belief. I know a lot of people would disagree, but just based on my observation as to how my plants grow, I feel like there's a chance that splash is affected by light. Anyways, as promised, let's compare the China to the Russia. All right, so this is gonna be a tough one, but these two plants, would you believe that I got this one? This is my Hoya Wilbur Graves China. I got this after I got this plant. Again, it's because this one just keeps reverting. I have to keep chopping it back, so that's why it's so much smaller. But this is my Hoya Wilbur Graves China. And you know what's so funny? Is that my Hoya Wilbur Graves China is starting to behave like a Russia. And I know it's not a Russian one because I got this from a reliable source. I got this from Houseplants. I got both of them from Houseplants actually at different times. And so this was sold to me as a Hoya Carnosa Wilbur Graves China from Jenna's collection. And so the typical China leaves is like the long leaves that I just talked about. But for some reason, all of a sudden, like the China leaves are typically longer. But for some reason, my China leaves are starting to become super oval. They're starting to look very much so like a Russian plant, like how I imagine the Wilbur Graves Russia to look. But anyways, yeah, as you can see, look at the difference. So look at my Russian here. Look at how pointy those leaves are. Can you see? So that's the Russian here. Look at how pointy that is. And then look at how round my China's leaves are. Like, look at that. You can definitely see a difference. I know you're going to say, maybe they're swapped. No, I trust Jenna and I believe her. This is the Russian and this is the China. I think it's just, I think lighting and just different factors can affect the shape of the leaves. But anyways, I think the Russian needs to get a little bit more attention on my channel. I think the China gets all the attention. Here we go. It's 30 seconds. It's time to shine. And yeah, it's in my DIY aeroid mix and in a self-watering pot. Okay, next plant on the list. I promised to show 5, right? We have to make sure I don't blabber here all day long. Promise to show 5. So we showed the Australis Lisa, the Vietnam, the Hoya Carnosa Wilbur Graves Russia. Okay, so we're on to plant number 4. Plant number 4 is this one. I don't talk about this plant a whole lot. I actually don't think I've ever featured this plant on my channel. This is a Hoya Silver Lady. And yeah, this is a plant that I got, I want to say in June of last year, of 2024. I got this from Jenna as a cutting. Is a Hoya that I did actually get in the sale. So this one is a Hoya Silver Lady. So again, some of these I think got dehydrated in the car, but they'll be fine. I'll just put them up in some water. I love silver Hoya. So this one, definitely when I saw she put this one up, I definitely was interested in this one. And she had them for really good prices as well. This plant gave me so much trouble in the beginning and I thought I was going to lose it. So I tend not to talk a lot about plants that I think I'm going to lose, because a part of me is like, why feature this plant on my channel when it's gonna like any day now? Next week it could be gone, and I don't want to be like, hey, this is how you care for it. You do this and this and this. I don't want to do that, because you're going to do the same thing and maybe it's going to, your plant's not going to do well. So I prefer to feature plants that I think I've sort of figured out. I think I have an idea as to what's happening and how to care for it, so I can give you valuable information. All of this to say, this is one of the reasons why I have not, or I didn't feature it. But I've had this a while and it's been growing well for a while now. So it's about time that I feature this plant. I just don't know what took me so long. So when I got it, I don't remember, I think maybe it had 4 leaves. It had a good few leaves on it, but I lost a lot of leaves. So that's why I'm glad Jenna gave me a pretty generous cutting so that I had, I had time to get it wrong and then get it right. So anyways, I think I went down to just 2 leaves at one point, and it was these 2 leaves. And then finally, I was able to get this plant to grow. What is the secret? I still don't quite know. So here I am still featuring it, and I still don't know what exactly it is. If I had to guess, I think this plant needs a lot of light and hydration. I think this plant was only happy when I initially put it into water. These leaves get super dehydrated and wrinkled so easily, and it's not the most beautiful plant when it starts to look like a prune. It's really not the most beautiful plant at that point. I don't think that I have greatly been able to avoid the sort of rough, crumpled look. It really looks like you took a piece of paper and then you're trying to iron it out. It's a little bit wrinkled. Look, it's not my favorite look, but I think I'm getting used to it. I have no idea what I can do to get it to look a little bit more plump, because I see a little bit of both online. I see some people with plump leaves and I see some people with wrinkled leaves, or maybe the wrinkled look is in. I hope so, because I'm going there. When it sun stresses, like look at those leaves here. Like look at this green, purple. Isn't that beautiful? It's sitting on, like I said, on my shelf. All of these plants except the Australis Lisa are under grow lights. So yeah, anyways, that's it. That's basically all there is to say. I mean, I would love if my Hoya would bloom, of course, like as a big part of growing Hoya, but I'm not in a rush for this one to bloom. I think I'm just really focused on trying to get this plant to grow well for me. But yeah, anyways, that's my Hoya Silver Lady. I have 2 more plants that I want to share, but I think I'll just share one so I don't talk for too much. The last plant that I want to share is, again, a plant that I don't think I've featured very often on my channel. Like, again, less than 5 times, maybe just in my Hoya collection videos and in repotting videos. But this is my Hoya Snow Queen Silver. This looks very similar to the Silver Lady. This was a plant that I originally wanted, and then it was pretty expensive, so I sort of aborted that and got the Silver Lady, and then this came up at a great price, so I got it. As you can see, it's sort of like, a little level up, a little prettier than the Silver Lady. It has those smooth leaves that I really enjoy, and it has splash. I love it because it has, like, look at this. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's such a beautiful plant. So this one, when I got it, it was just 2 leaves, and I was so scared. I was so nervous that I was gonna mess it up. I'm always scared to buy cuttings or plants with only 2 leaves, but at least it was an actual plant. It wasn't a cutting. So anyways, oh, look at this. I think these were the only leaves that it had. I'm trying not to throw it down. These are the only 2 leaves it had when I got it. And then it started, when it pushed out this leaf here, I was like, okay, finally, I think we're getting somewhere. It took a while. So I've had this plant, maybe a year, possibly a year now, and this is all that it has done in the year. And I say this is all because I have other Hoya that do a lot more. Even if they're not my fastest growers, they do a lot. And again, it's another plant that I think wasn't happy originally, but then I put it into, this is my DIY mix, and I think I repotted it maybe in the fall or in the summer last year. I think I do have a video. And again, whenever you repot, it slows it down, but I think it's finally happy with its setup because it's continued to give me like some beautifully silver leaves. It's getting a little bit of sun stressing on this leaf. We have a little purple, and it is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Look at this leaf. Look at this leaf. Ay, ay, ay. I got this one from Tia. She has like fantastic Hoya, and is starting to push out new growth in a new little area right here behind by my thumb, and it has new growth coming out at the top here. Yep, so it's I wouldn't say it's a very thirsty plant, but it's a little bit on the difficult side. I do think it's a little bit finicky. Again, the Hoya Heuchkeliana, I think, is one of the most difficult Hoya to propagate, but definitely not as difficult as that, but it wasn't as easy. And again, when you have such high variegation, such splashy, sometimes silver leaves, it's, you know, a little bit harder on the plant, I guess, to make food and whatnot. But again, another plant that I think I might want to cut and stick back in to get a little bit of a fuller plant instead of just this one gangly one. And I don't know, I don't think I want to put it on a trellis. I mean, it could look cute on a trellis, like that does look cute, but I actually have it just wrapped up on my shelf. Again, just wrapping up along the pole of my shelf and it growing upwards, and it seems to really like that. So anyways, that's my Hoya Snoquist Silver. Starting to push a little tiny root here at the bottom, not quite yet. Again, like I said, a little bit more of a difficult one. But that's it. That's it. These are my 5 Hoya that I think, at least to me, I should show you. I shouldn't hide them from you. I should be showing you them a little bit more so that you can enjoy them with me. And that's it for today's video. That's 5 Hoya that I think I need to talk more about. Do you have any of these Hoya? If you do, which ones do you have? Which ones work for you? But I also want to know, based on my preferences, which Hoya do you think I should get? I'm always on the lookout for some new plants, especially Hoya and Anthurium, that you think I might enjoy. So let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for being here and for watching this video. I appreciate the time you take to do so, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.